Hey students, I know some of you have been struggling a little bit with the profile essay, so I wanted to take the time to give you an example and kind of show you how I'm working through this personally and doing a profile of my dad. So what I've done here is and of course this is not an MLA format, but what I've done is I've created an introduction example and then I've also created a paragraph example. So here's the introduction. He wears cinched jeans, his square Georgia boots, and has a skull can ring that never leaves his back pocket. He's known in the community for being Doug Talent, the cowboy that did the impossible, creating groundbreaking research for horse breeders all over the world. He is certainly all of those things, but to me, he's simply my dad, the man I want to be exactly like someday. When I think about my dad's life, I think about the quote, never tire of doing good. That is what my dad's life is marked by. He is a man that has never grown tired of doing good. So right here, we can see very clearly that this is the thesis statement, okay? What I want you to take away from this introduction, three things. Number one, we know what this essay is about. I'm going to be profiling my dad, okay? And I've made it clear that this is the person I want to be like. I've made it clear who he is. And then the next thing that I want you to know is what is the specific angle that I'm approaching about my dad's life? Well, in the thesis statement, it says, when I think about my dad's life, I think about the quote, never tired of doing good. That is what my dad's life is marked by. He is a man that has never grown tired of doing good. Okay, so we have this very clear approach to how I'm profiling my dad. So then I want you to take a look at this paragraph example. What I've done here is I've highlighted in yellow the thesis statement, the topic sentence, and the summative sentence. His goodness is evident in the way he operates his successful small business. Okay, so what I've done there is you see that thesis statement and you see what my focus is on that thesis, and I've reiterated it in that topic sentence. My dad made a decision a long time ago that his business would not just be another horse breeding facility. Instead, it became a place for second chances. My dad chooses to employ people who are looking for a fresh start. Whether they had to serve time in prison, they experienced hard times and lost their job, or they made choices that had permanent consequences. I've never seen my dad turn anyone away who is looking for a second chance. For many of his employees, that means he has to secure a place for them to live, a cell phone to carry, food to eat, and for some, even clothes to wear to work. For many business owners, that kind of commitment would simply be too much to take on, and their love for money would succeed their desire to help others in the process. However, my dad sees his work as an opportunity to help and bless people. As he fixes his jeans over his boots, he looks at me and says, the way I see it, there are people in life that took a chance on me, and I wouldn't be here without them. This is my way of getting to pay it forward now that I can. He jumps on the tractor and he begins directing each employee to their task. As I look across the barnyard, there are employees ranging from 15 years old to an 85-year-old man who simply picks stalls. The grass is freshly cut from a day of bush hogging. The horses are running wild, knowing they're getting ready to get their morning feed, and the entire ranch seems to be ready to start the day. Each of my dad's employees look to him for their next instruction. It's evident that they feel respected in their work, and in return, they show their boss man great respect as well. While it may seem this is an easy way to live, having the opportunity to help hurting people, my dad has had many disappointments. He's lost employees who have chosen to go back down their difficult paths, and each time I hear him pray for them while his heart is breaking at the same time. However, the hurt or the disappointment doesn't stop him from trying again, whether it's trying to get that person back on track or accepting another person who needs the hand. He never tires of doing good in his work. Guys, what I want you to see in this example paragraph, we have this very clear evidence of a topic sentence, okay? And that topic sentence supports the thesis statement that I started with. But then what I want you to see here, this looks like just a ton of background knowledge, but what it is I've done my interview and I've used that information in my interview to craft a narrative. And then at the same time, I've also gone to observe my dad in his work setting, and I've seen some of this take place. So I know how to describe the scene that he's currently in at the time that I'm writing this. So just to give you some perspective, here's my topic sentence. Here's information that I gathered from questions that I asked him in the interview. Here's information that I personally witnessed and personally saw going on in the scene. That's why the observation component is so important, because this is what I gathered from that. And then going back to here, this green portion down here, again, that's clearly from interview, things that I've asked him and conversations that we've had. And then I've got this very clear summative sentence that reinforces this topic that I started with. And this is just one paragraph example. So if I would go on to create a couple more paragraphs, one idea that I had was talking about that his goodness is evident in the way that he takes care of my children so that I can go to work. Again, I would create a paragraph very similar to this, but that focuses on that idea. But what I want you to see is that both of those ideas, both of these paragraphs support that thesis statement, okay? You don't need to lose sight. The profile essay is simply another essay where you're really showing examples, right? You're showing examples and you're showing proof and evidence in those body paragraphs to, number one, paint the picture of who someone is. That's our purpose, right? But number two, it all goes back to supporting that thesis statement. So I wanted to give you this example as you're completing your drafts, and keep in mind that this is just for me. This is my personal example. You do not have to model this exactly. Just as some of you had mentioned that you were struggling creating your body paragraphs, I wanted to give you a clear example of what that looks like. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.